Let's rally for more referrals. As all of you know, schools are so dependent upon gaining qualified, mission appropriate applicants through their referrals. And as all of you know, referrals can come from current or former families, from your current student body, from friends, and from the local community, as well as your alumni. Now, as a former director of admissions and marketing, as well as in my work with clients over the last few years, I have gained a number of different tips that can help you be much more proactive about gaining more referrals. So let's talk first of all about how you would address each of the respective audiences. So for families, I strongly recommend that you think about tuition or bookstore credits or something that is tied with your summer program, for instance. It could be that you are actually, as a goal, trying to ramp up your summer school, or perhaps you're trying to stimulate more sale, more interest in your bookstore, or you're finding that families are under, tuition stress. So depending on your goals, think about what would really incentivize families to send more referrals your way. Now, many boarding schools or day schools may frown upon incentives for referrals, but let's think about this as a way to give thanks and really offer financial support to families. And especially if you're a military school that's struggling to meet your enrollment goals, then it's all the more critical that you make sure that you make referrals one of your main drivers of actual enrollments. And I speak to drivers of yield quite often because really referrals should top your list. If you have a strong reputation and you're doing proactive referral promotions, then referrals should be your mainstay of gaining new enrollments. Now, let's talk momentarily about our alumni base. Well, in their particular case, a branded gift might be appropriate, like a cap or a mug or something else from your respective bookstore. Now, this would only be the case if they are not sending a family member. If they are sending a family member and you don't have an alumni discount in place for children or grandchildren, I would strongly recommend that you put that into place, because many times an alum is the fiscally responsible party, and they may have children or grandchildren that they want to send to your institution. Some schools limit it to children only, but more and more as relatives and grandparents are raising kids or sending kids to military schools and academies, you may want to consider broadening those parameters. So now let's talk about students. A lot of times schools don't consider, asking students to refer their friends, but honestly, kids really want more friends to choose from. They want more kids like themselves. And so they may be quite keen to rally and send you referrals, especially if you can make it kind of fun and give them some kind of an incentive. Maybe whoever sends the most referrals wins a special gift, or you give a gift to each and every referral that is provided. But for students, what you might want to consider is just giving them an incentive for online applications that are submitted versus the verified enrollments, where you would give a tuition or bookstore credit to the fiscally responsible party. Now, I do want to make sure that I cover the fact that, financial aid and discounts are different from what we are talking about here. If you're doing a tuition or a bookstore credit or a summer camp credit, don't get that mixed up with your discounts or your financial aid packages. And make sure that families know that they can combine these incentives with their financial aid package and other discounts. I also would like to just state that I would not, recommend putting a cap on the number of referrals a family may submit. I know that, some schools offer something nominal like, 250 or $500 a book credit, something along those lines. But some schools offer, anywhere from $1,000 to a few $1,000s as a tuition credit. Now, in my experience, I never had a family submit more than one, but the family that might do so is probably needing more financial assistance. So it's a way for them to give back to the institution. It's a way for them to pay it forward and at the same time reduce their tuition impact. So now let us talk about content ideas. So first of all, I want to get you to not overthink this process. It's actually very simple to come up with a few key sentences that form the foundation for your referral incentive. And you can edit the copy for each marketing initiative, but make sure you repurpose your content. Take that core content and then just adjust it for each of your platforms, whether it's a brochure or an email newsletter or a social media post. And then make sure you rotate your headers. Don't keep using the same header every time. And test your calls to action. A call to action, if you're not familiar with that term, is something like call today, submit your review today on this site. So make sure that you test the calls to action and see which ones really actually work best for you. And then make sure that your copy has some of your core messaging from your institution's style guide. Every institution should have a style guide with their key branding information, their key messaging, the fonts that are used, the colors that are used on your different platforms. And then last but not least, include how to submit and verify for your respective family so that they know how this process works. It's not enough just to tell people to submit referrals. You want to tell them how to do it and how they're going to get their money. That's very, very important. So here are a few headline ideas that I have constructed just to get you started. But obviously, you'll want to adjust those and modify those to match your messaging from your school and to add the verification and submission details. So the first one is just simply bring a friend, or it could say bring your best friend, or bring a neighbor, or bring a teammate, and you could even rotate that copy so it's constantly changing. And then call out the name of your school and then ask a question. Sometimes asking a question is better than making a statement. It comes across as being less sales oriented or pushy. Does your son or daughter have a friend to bring along next year or two? And then the name of your school. The second one is we want more students like your son or daughter. That's very complimentary to families to let them know that by sharing their stories far and wide with their friends and neighbors and communities, that you want more students that are mission appropriate, like their son or daughter. And then you can end that with in appreciation we offer, and then you call out your incentive, and then you indicate the verification details as well. Now, number three, pay it forward. That's kind of an old term from that movie we all watched years ago, but I really like it. Know someone who could benefit from an education at the name of your school. We appreciate the stories you share with others. To extend our thanks, we offer blank. And then, of course, once again, make sure you always add how to submit and how you verify. The next one is give the gift of a private education. Thank you for telling your personal stories to friends and neighbors. We want more students like and you could even put the name of the student if you do something that's highly personal, like a postcard, for instance. To show our gratitude, we offer, and you call out the incentive, and then you provide the submission and verification details. Change a life. As you witness changes in your daughter or son, share and celebrate her or his success by telling others your personal success stories. As a thank you for making a difference in the education of a student, we offer, and then go into the incentive. Something that makes them feel like they are having an impact on the lives of kids can be very powerful. Number 4, give the gift. Calling out the fact that they are giving a gift is very important. Number 2 was giving them recognition for their great job in raising their child. So each respective copy point and headline serves a different purpose. Once again, make a difference in a teenager's life. How did your daughter, son do this year academically, socially, emotionally, spiritually, and physically? Thank you for sharing your personal stories with friends, family, and neighbors. To give thanks, we would like to offer you, and then complete it with your incentive. And then the last one, you could do something kind of catchy that ties in with your messaging. Students rock at the name of your school. Who knows us better than you do? We appreciate you. Tell others about our school and receive blank. So each and every one of these serves a different purpose, but they also kind of tie in with kind of an emotional response that the family may have in reading this, whether it is to bring more kids like your son or daughter, whether it is giving a gift or paying it forward or being changing a life, or calling out a messaging that is redundant from your branding. So the other key thing to point out here is I use the word story a lot rather than testimonial, because people really love to tell their personal story, and telling something very specific in a story format is often far more emotionally compelling than just saying, this is a great school. My son, got straight A's, big deal. My son Johnny entered with a C average and now has an A average after attending for 2 years. He had lost his confidence and a lot of his self-esteem, but is now receiving tremendous academic support. So when you're encouraging people to really tell stories, you're asking them to go into more specifics about what happened to their son or daughter. Now, I keep mentioning these clauses that you need to add at the end, but make sure that you add how to submit. So simplistically, you could say something like, simply send an email or call the Office of Admission to provide your name, the name of the prospective family, student name, day or boarding, entering grade, and their email and or phone. And then for verification purposes, you could put something along these lines to show our appreciation after the enrollment is verified, and then you need to cite that method of choice. The credit will be posted to your account after blank. So choose what works best to verify enrollments, such as after registration or after first semester or a specific time frame. And then make sure that you add your verification method if you have something more specific beyond just verifying it between the admissions office and the business office, for instance. And then you should make sure you have protocols in place between admissions and the business office to ensure that everyone that submits it properly and is verified according to your policies receives that tuition credit or discount in a timely fashion. You do not want to embarrass yourself or families by having families chase these referrals. You really want this to feel like you are demonstrating your appreciation, that this is your way of giving back, and this is also your way of helping families with the very high cost of a tuition-based education in a private school marketplace. So last but not least, I want to talk about where you can maximize and post all of these various referral promotions. It's very important not just to do this on Facebook or not just to include this on your website. So let's start out with your main wheel, the website. I would put this under your financial assistance, your financial aid, financial resources, whatever you happen to call those pages, because functionally it's a way of them reducing their tuition costs. So you want to call that out as a benefit as part of your financial assistance packages. On the email front, I strongly encourage you to follow a template for your email newsletters and have a structure in place, and include in that structure, maybe at the very tail end of each email newsletter, all your social media icons where you say, please follow us on blank. And then right before those social media icons, you would call out any promotions you have for your referrals, and also any promotions you have for posting reviews. And I touch on that topic of reviews in a blog that I have written on my website, for instance. Social media, you want to run ads to really expand your reach and segment your audiences. So make sure if you're talking to your alumni about what you're going to do for them for sending someone your way, post that on your respective alumni page if you have a separate page for that. If you're talking to families, make sure that you make it appear that you are speaking to them, and then you offer them that incentive. And really maximize your social media networks and sites. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, for instance. Also, don't forget about your campus displays. So you can create a really simple little display that you can put in your main hubs, like the academic office, maybe your campus operations offices, and then also have these placards or displays available and showcased during all of your main events throughout the year. And then don't forget about YouTube. Don't forget about your testimonials you may have on the YouTube channel. Because at the very end, you can add copy to the end. And YouTube offers call outs and cards and end screens, a variety of different things to embellish videos. So it's relatively easy just to add a card that has your special messaging contained within it. So that's a great way also just to make sure people are aware of this. And, even prospective families will really actually want to know about this, because they may have families they can send your way. And this shouldn't be limited to, families that are just already, currently enrolled and returning students. It really can be related to your prospective families that then turn into an enrollment, and then in fact turn around and send other kids your way. So really think about how This can grow exponentially for you and really lead not only to more enrollments, but to a better caliber of applicant, because these people know your school better than anybody does. And so they're going to try and send you students that they think are a good fit. And then don't forget about your magazines and any other publications you have circulating around. It's very easy to include this kind of incentive on the inside or back cover. And it could start out with a question: know someone who may benefit from an education at your respective institution. And then just go into the details. And then last but not least, event programs. You may even want to provide recognition for every family that submitted referrals, and then call out the promotion itself. You may even have a major fundraising auction or event during the year. And oftentimes there is a screen that shows with various videos and call out information. So you may want to list all of the sponsors, all of the people that sent you referrals, all of the people that, made significant donations throughout the year. So don't forget about the way that you can maximize each and every marketing initiative to include your request. And this is a request, this is not a requirement, for more referrals. And believe me, by being strategic, really having an annual plan and following that annual plan for these referral promotions, you're going to get more applications and you're going to get more qualified enrollments. And from my direct experience, I've found that the families that sent us referrals had a much higher percentage of not only converting to an enrollment, but being retained over time, because these people felt like they got to know you through an authentic source, and that family gave them the lowdown, probably the good and the bad. So they had a realistic picture. They didn't have this idealistic picture of who you are and what you're going to do. They really heard firsthand from a family and how things change for their son or daughter. So I hope this has been very helpful to you. If you need any help with a referral plan or program, please feel free to reach out to Aperture Advisory Associates. I do offer a 1-hour complimentary consultation. There's no cost or obligation. And I really, encourage all of you to really think about how you can expand and really rally for more referrals. Thank you so much for joining me today. Always remember, your focus determines your reality. Open your aperture. Thank you.